Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm back with another movie review. Before I get into it, give me a like and subscribe. This is going to be for Jumanji 2, the next level. I kind of happened to catch it this weekend. I would say it was pretty good. I did enjoy it. It was funny. It wasn't as good as the first one. At least I don't think it was. There was a few parts that seemed like kind of repeat from the first one. The humor was a little bit better because Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart's characters in the game were played by Danny DeVito and Danny Glover, which was kind of made it a little bit different because they had to act differently than their typical selves. But it's also with the kid Spencer. I guess he's kind of depressed as he went off to college and things aren't how he expected it to be. So he goes back home and he finds the console and he starts messing with it and he gets, because he wants to go back in for whatever reason. I guess because he liked it was good when he was in the game. I guess he liked it, so he wanted to go back in. So he messed with the console, and they say he gets sucked into it. And then his friends come looking for him, and they find the console, and because it's not put together, I guess the console's it's just kind of wired incorrectly. I guess they get sucked into the game without getting to pick the characters. And this time, Danny DeVito and Danny Glover get sucked into the game because they're happen to be the upstairs of the house, and I guess it goes throughout the whole house somehow. So it's funny with how Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart had to do their personalities. Kevin Hart's talking really slow and like he's much older, and it takes him a long time to work things out in his head and try to explain it to people like he's a zoologist who takes a long time to explain about the animals in Jumanji. He's not sure how he even knows. They're trying to explain, well, because you're in a video game. And so it takes, the two characters a while for them to finally get them to understand they're in a video game. So they're supposed to be going to look for Spencer. And Spencer ends up being this woman character. So they didn't realize it at first. Because I guess when he gets sucked in the game, he didn't get to pick who he wanted because the game is busted. One thing I wanted to note is that they had the guy, I forgot what his name was, the guy who... the NPC at the beginning of the game. Welcome to Jumanji. That guy was back. I think he only was in 2 scenes, I believe. There was one at the very beginning and the very end. I don't think there's any other scenes he was in. That guy. His part in the first one was a little bit funny than this time around. Where there's an NPC, he can only say certain lines over and over and over again, no matter how much you ask him. It was cool to see them, get go into the game back as these characters, but not the same. Like Danny DeVito was Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart was Danny Glover. The other two characters, Kevin Hart was, not Kevin Hart. Jack Black was Fridge, and what was the girl's name? Ruby Roundhouse was which character that was. What her name is. Anyways, they take on different characters. They're not the same people they were in the first game. They all get mixed up with their characters. The game's broken. Eventually, they find this lake thing where it has like looks like electricity or something, and somehow they're able to switch back to who they are. And then they have to go find Bethany. They find out Bethany is a horse because she goes and finds. Nick Jones is, the guy, Tom Hanks, his guy, Colin Hanks is in the movie. So she goes to find him to say, hey, they went back in the game. I need help going to find my friend. So they go back in and it's Nick Jonas, and she goes in again because the game's broken. She becomes a horse. And that was kind of funny. You're like, oh, I can't believe I'm a total horse. That's what she says. And we didn't say it, but Kevin Hart's, since he's a zoologist, he can understand what she's saying. So, they may eventually able to transform her back to Jack Black using that same water with the electrical water pulses in it. I don't know what you want to call it. So, yeah, that was, most of the time it was fairly the same thing. Animals chasing around them and then going against a big bad villain. So, the same as last time, but different than last time, except this time they play different characters, which made it, made it a little bit different. Because overall, it's kind of the same movie, but because they play different people, it makes it a little bit different. The humor was different than last time, but it was pretty funny. I did enjoy this movie. I'm wondering if they're going to make a sequel because there's an end at the end of the movie. It's, these ostriches show up that were in the game. So I don't know if they try to make a third one. It'd be kind of interesting if they do. I mean, I'm sure this movie will make enough money to to warrant another a third movie maybe. I mean, I'm kind of surprised they did a second one to begin with. But overall, it was pretty good. They get chased around by bad guys and by animals, and with the different also the skill screen. That was kind of funny where Jack Black's characters, his skills or his weakness were like sand, sun. I forget the other one was. He's like, how's this guy a character in the game? It was kind of funny. Because it really shouldn't be in a video game. It just was, he did have like one use. He could read the map. I think that's what his one skill was. And Dwayne Johnson's cat goes around beating everybody up, like usual. So that was kind of funny. Once Danny DeVito realized he was strong, and he could beat up everybody. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to go out and beat up everybody. Nobody he didn't like was Milo, who's played by Danny Glover. Decides at the end he ends up changing places with Bethany, so she becomes I forget which character she was. She went from being a horse to Jack Black, and so Danny Glover's character decides he wants to stay in the game because in the real world he's dying. He doesn't have much time left. It seems a little silly to me. He's gonna stay in the game, like just gonna suddenly leave everybody behind. Like I'm sure he had family and everything. That part I thought was a little silly. But other than that, I did enjoy it. It was a fun movie. I mean, it wasn't great. Like I said, it was a decent movie. It was good. It's worth seeing. So I think that's all I'm about to say about this movie. I just want to give my quick review and input on this. Overall, it was a pretty good movie. Plenty of humor, plenty of action. So if you guys like this video, give me a like and subscribe. Until next time.